My name's Dr. Mike Rayner. I'm currently the Associate Head for Global Engagement and Education Partnerships in the School of Sport, Health and Exercise Science. I've been with the school roughly around 15 years as we undertake this sort of process, and it's been 15 amazing years where I've had an opportunity not only engage in the world of education but also into the dynamics of the sports industry. But how I became involved in this sort of process is quite a unique story in itself. I did an undergraduate degree that was very multidisciplinary in nature. I then undertook a postgraduate degree in international human resource management, and that was my first real insight to exploring global markets, the global implications of business practice, and it allowed me to work and study in different environments around the world. During my PhD, I was able to look at professionalism from a very global lens, looking at a range of different projects across America, New Zealand, Australia, and Asia specifically, to understand what the term professionalism meant, and particularly within that sporting context. But my first actual professional job had nothing to do with sport itself. I actually worked for a construction company where my responsibility was hiring people and also firing people. And part of that process was both enjoyable but also quite upsetting. So I quickly learned that human resource management as a pure career path wasn't necessarily for me. But the fortunate thing for me was that I was working for a construction company that was formulating global plans to engage within the sports sector. That particular company was fortunate enough to work with the London Olympic Games Organising Committee that allowed me to really get a footprint in terms of different dynamics of the sports industry. Through that opportunity, I was very uniquely approached by the University of Portsmouth to consider an opportunity to devise business and sport and those aligned programs within the school or department of sport and exercise at that moment in time. So 14 years later, we now have, as I mentioned previously, we have 7 undergraduate degrees, 2 in partnership with Edith Cowan University, and this is the year that we are welcoming the IMSC into our group. So just to finalise, the sports industry is very, very unique. I have a very unique background coming into academia from a very construction-based premise, but sport is something that has been my lifeline in terms of my social activities, and now I've had the very privileged position to turn that into my professional endeavour. So the 3 pathways offered with the IMSC are the Diploma in Higher Education in Sport and Exercise Science, the BSc Honours in Sport and Exercise Science, as well as the BSc Honours in Sport Management. So the first pathway, the Diploma in Higher Education, is underpinned by a mixture of core and optional modules. Now the core modules are focused on nutrition, on strength and conditioning, research methods, and they allow you to have that multidisciplinary underpinning that will allow your knowledge of the sport and exercise discipline to really grow. Another great thing of the Diploma in Higher Education allows you not only to have a core understanding of knowledge, but it also gives you the autonomy to make some decisions, to choose the pathway that you may be interested in or maybe academically more proficient in. So the options within that pathway focus around psychology, principles of skill acquisition, and also principles of performance analysis. So they're very multidisciplinary in terms of their options, but they give you different avenues in which to explore and obviously to sort of ignite the passion for the sports industry, and more importantly align to any passion or interest that you may have in regards to going forward in your career. So in terms of the level 6, the final year BSc Honours in Sport and Exercise Science, this again is multidisciplinary, underpinned with exercise physiology, sports nutrition, as well as a research project. Within the Diploma for Higher Education, as I mentioned, there's an underpinning knowledge of research methodology that is framed in the degree programme. Well, at the final BSc Honours pathway, there is a 40 credit, a project module that will allow you to really explore research paradigms and really put theory into practice. You'll take ownership for a research project that can be in a range of different subject areas depending on your passions and interests. And most importantly, something I would advocate, your career aspirations. But alongside the project, as I mentioned, you're underpinned with elements of nutrition as well as exercise physiology. But again, your course is designed that you have that autonomy. You have the opportunity to choose and explore different areas of skill acquisition, psychology, whatever suits the strength and passion or aspirations that you may have. Now, the final course, the BSc Honours in Sport Management, This is a core program because the program has been designed specifically to give you the competencies, the skills and the opportunities relevant to go out and seek employment within that sort of global sport management workplace. The modules specifically relate to strategic management, entrepreneurship, which creates an opportunity to look at business venturing ideas within the Singaporean type business market, but also you have experience of undertaking sales and marketing strategies, understanding how you can sell and market different products, understanding the difference between a consumer and a customer, and how you make different interactions with those consumer groups moving forward in any practice related to the sports industry. Within that program as well, and vitally of importance particularly for the sport management pathway, is a professional development module that is framed with guest speakers from different parts of the industry, different parts of the sports sector, to give their opinions, their advice on what they did to get them into the position they are in, but also things they would advise you on what they should engage with outside of your studies. So overall, the partnership with the IMSC, the degree opportunities you have in situ are framed around some very unique global frameworks that allow you to really have the opportunity to thrive, survive and really develop your career aspirations here in Singapore. It'd be really great to have you on board with the IMSC team, because not only do you become part of their family, you become part of the University of Portsmouth. Really look forward to hearing your stories, really look forward to see how you engage between the two different organisations, and genuinely, as a school, as an individual academic, really look forward to seeing you graduate in a year or two's time.